And we are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And welcome to episode 162 of the DayZ Podcast. We are joined this week by none of the other co-hosts. They've all got shit on, folks. So you're just going to be stuck with myself and our guest of the day, the one, the only, Synamann. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. Thanks for bringing us along, buddy. How
Yeah,
goes it?
happy to, mate. That's just kind of how I like getting people on, particularly people that I'm aware of, and mate, now, your YouTube's blowing up, buddy.
It's getting there, yeah. Look, it's a funny system, YouTube, eh? Like it's quite cool how you can do it, and some days, mate, you can be pretty good. Some days you can be pretty bloody crap, and um, yeah, like I know the biggest video I think I had was by accident, to be honest with you, and that's really when I started to go, okay, hang on, there might be something a little bit more to this, so um, it's like fishing, I reckon.
Metric, I think, mate, is honestly uh your subscriber count. You can have a great video that blows up and all the rest of it, but when I saw that you were on 4,000 and like, think when I first started following you, mate, you were maybe double digits or a couple of hundred at most. Would that be right?
Yeah, it'd be close to it, mate. I actually I didn't really do YouTube, to be honest with you. I didn't have a lot of understanding. Like, I think a lot of people when they start out, there's not a lot of, and I could be totally wrong, but there's not a lot of, I suppose, knowledge that you can grab hold of straight away unless you actually go doing the research yourself. So yeah, look, I was barely even on YouTube. I think I was using it just to watch more than anything else. Yeah. So
Said that was a video that blew up or something. What?
Yeah, it was. So it was back in 1.13 when basically what we were doing. I think it was 1.13. I know it was when the what do you call it? When the gas come out, when the gas zone started coming out the first time. And Wobo actually, I did a yeah, yeah, airstrike, yeah, and that was to be fair, it was done on Xbox. It was filmed on Xbox. And look, I just put it out because it was literally the first time, obviously, I think anybody really even seen it. It was just timing, mate, really, to be fair. Like a good video can be good timing more than anything else.
Yeah.
That was the key to it, I suppose.
And yes, folks, I have shaved the beard, but it's only a temporary thing. I was getting a bit scruffy, and I got the clippers out to fix it up, and I went a bit too far, so I just said, fuck it. Boydie, turn off your mic filters in OBS. It's cutting out your audio. Okay.
I don't know if that's airstrikes or what, but that is fucking cool.
Just hit that, see what it's like.
Okay, how's that audio now? I just turned off the noise gate.
So the field hospital definitely looks fucking sick.
Is that better?
And I don't know if someone is firing a flare, but there was a flare going up and then an explosion.
An explosion?
Yep. Oh, yeah, no, it's the... Oh,
There it is. There's the airstrike.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of servers turn them off, and I don't know. I think they're great. I do. Yeah, it's an organic, dynamic event that just
fucking hell.
Listen to you swearing like a bloody trooper.
Yeah, look, yeah, I think that's probably my biggest thing as well. Like I need to, I keep forgetting half the time that I'm doing stuff, and naturally it just comes out.
That's mental way.
I know the old lady be smacking the crap out of us if she was still around, mate. Put it that way. So I think I'm catching up to lost time. But yeah, look, it's one thing I've noticed myself too. I'm like, damn, I didn't realise I swear that much. It just becomes second nature, unfortunately, which isn't necessarily the best.
Yep. Back a bit now. I got a bit sidetracked there with your YouTube channel. You said you've been living in Australia now 20 years, mate. What made you move from land of the long white cloud to Australia?
Bougainville, yeah. Well, look, I'll tell you, it's not much difference, to be honest with you. I suppose, look, it's most Kiwis will probably tell you the same thing, I think, and it's not far wrong. Like, opportunity here is 10 times more than back home.
Yep.
Money, obviously, as well. If I didn't say money, I'd be full of shit personally. But money over here, hands down, far better than over in New Zealand. It was more opportunity for the kids as well. Like, I had a 4-year-old at the time,
Yep.
myself and the partner. Looked at it and went, well, look, we've been through this already ourselves, so we really want to put her through the same thing as well. And I was playing. Not a lot of people probably know this, but I was playing A-grade footy. So I was playing Prem footy, and I had an opportunity to come over here and play it as well. So there are about 4 or 5 different things that. No, soccer, mate. Football, the real football. Yeah, the real football.
Okay.
Yeah. I never played. I played union a couple of times, but not much. Not much. I wasn't one of these guys that said I'm going to come an All Black because I knew I couldn't. But I took off into football quite well, and had a lot of opportunities, and was doing a scholarship, basically an elite sport over in New Zealand as part of a training course. And then just had the opportunity. And one day, I think I was getting benched too much at football and had a gut sore, and said to the missus, "Do you want to fucking pack up and go?" And so we did. Literally in about a month we did. We took off over here. Had my brother who'd been over here around about 10 years, and we come over, mate, with about $1,300 in my pocket and a partner and a kid, and yeah, pretty much put on the ground. Went, okay, let's go. So.
Do you go back home often, or do you consider this home now?
No, this is home. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Like home, it's stupid. Like home's home, obviously. New Zealand's always a place where I was and where I come from. Like us Kiwis are a little bit different to most people. We do have that sort of we call it mana. So we have the thing called pride or mana or heart. And like our heritage is pretty important to us in regards to how you grow up. I haven't been back. I've never been back. There's not. It's not that there's no reason to go back there. There's just no.
So are you actually Maori or just
No. So I'm pretty much, believe it or not, I'm Scottish. I'm born in New Zealand. Only family member to be born in New Zealand. The rest are Scottish. So I've got a lot of uncles and aunts and that type of thing by marriage that are Maori, and just sort of fell with it that way, really. And
one
it's
of
a
the
bit
things
tricky.
I've been chatting with another Aussie Murray mate quite a bit about. We've got the vote for the Voice here in Australia, and I know it's getting a little bit off track here, but one of the things I said to him is that it's starting to turn around a bit, which is great to see. But when you said about mana, and I know that's quite a Maori sort of thing, and one of the big differences between Australia and New Zealand, as much as everyone gets us confused, is that you guys do seem to embrace the native, the Maori, a lot better than Australians do the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, which is it's an amazing thing because the Maori in particular, mate, I think they're the only native people who ever forced the British to go to a treaty. And I just watched a video the other day about, I can't remember the name of it, but the British had little to no idea about fortifications and how to make a good one, whereas the Maoris were fucking experts at it. And they attacked a Maori settlement, and it just didn't go well for them. They
No, they didn't. It's there's a really good, like, and sort of digressing, but there's a little bit of a really good YouTube, I suppose, say, running documentary where this particular person goes around the whole of the country showing all the stoushes that actually happened.
Yep.
And what a lot of people don't realise, like, it wasn't always that way. It wasn't always accepted technically. Like, it was there. We do it probably better than most countries, I suppose, in the world. And it's a shame too.
Especially a lot of British occupied countries. Let's face it. The Brits weren't the greatest colonials, but they were damn good at it. They fucking everywhere, but
yeah, they were.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
didn't have the
and
greatest legacy with a lot of the countries that they.
not at all.
How do we word it politely? That they brought civilization to.
Yeah, re-civilize the world the right way or something. Yeah, it's Yeah, and it's funny if you ever get, if anybody ever gets a chance to go over there and wants to have a little bit of a look. If you look at certain areas and the certain parts of the islands, there is actual places identifying where some of the war took place. Um, and the scale of it's quite underestimated. I think what actually happened as well, and you know, it makes. I think once you get both Indigenous and obviously non-Indigenous sides together in your actual country, it unites the country a hell of a lot more than it divides it. So
Yeah.
it's one thing I think, unfortunately, Australia don't do it good. They are starting to change it, which is really cool to see.
Yep.
It's almost like they're embarrassed, and no disrespect, it's almost like they're embarrassed by it. Now they're still sort of starting to take it and embrace it a bit more. And I think if anything, all it really would do would strengthen you. So it's crazy not to, basically.
There we go. Just fixed my camera. But yeah, no, it's an amazing country, New Zealand. It's definitely on my bucket list to go over there. Not just because of the Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
yeah, that took off, mate. Like it's quite it did really, really well for the country, I can tell you. Like once
Yeah.
that started sort of sinking in, everybody wanted to go and see it, and then
People started realizing that New Zealand is its own country and not
Yeah.
just part of Australia.
I'm pretty sure we're like, and I'm not a history buff or whatever you want to call it, geographic fella, but I know pretty sure we're still the youngest country in the world. Probably like most people in other parts of the world as well. When you keep growing up there,
I think there's newer countries that have been like created, but
Yep.
I think New Zealand was probably the last sizable landmass settled by any sort of native persons. Even the Maoris don't have the longest history there. I think they were only like 400 or 500 years pre white settlers arriving. So it's kind of amazing that this beautiful. But one thing it does show is the impact that humans have on the landscape around them. They wiped out two major, the largest land bird and the largest carnivorous bird as well. And they wiped them out within the space of 400 years, which is just insane. And that's without, what the Americans managed to do to the buffalo on the Great Plains in arguably a much shorter time. But a native people that pretty much, I can't remember, did the Maori have the bow and arrow? I don't think they did.
No, we had a thing called the taiaha and the patu. It's the one thing. It's the one thing I've always wanted to get hold. Like we, jade's pretty common, obviously around the world, and here in Australia and that type of thing. We have greenstone, which technically look the same, but a little bit different. Greenstone's a lot harder. And like I haven't been there 20 years, so it may have changed, but you physically cannot take greenstone out of the rivers. Because it's obviously, it's a protected item, I suppose you could go. Doesn't mean that people's houses don't have, 6 foot high fucking greenstones in their front yard and stuff. But they have a thing called a patu, which was a club. And it's realistically used just to, do damage with. And look, if you want to actually see what it's about, there's a subtitled movie called Deadlands, and that sort of gives you a bit of a indication of how
man, there's only one movie you need to watch to learn. You know where I'm going, don't you?
I do straight away. Yeah, I do. Yeah, and look, it's a crazy
Uncle fucking bully.
Yeah, mate.
What a movie, though! What a movie!
Oh yeah. Look, it was powerful.
Yeah, for those who don't get the reference, we're talking about probably one of the most famous New Zealand movies of all time. Once Were Warriors, and it's a fantastic look into the good and the bad side of Maori culture these days. In that they've got so much pride, but like a lot of Indigenous cultures, they've really struggled with a rapid conversion to a modern civilization. Well, Jake the Muss, that was his name, Jake the Muss.
Yeah.
What a character! What a character!
Timmy Morrison, mate.
He was the guy who played the original Stormtrooper in the more modern Star Wars series, the one that they based all the clones off of.
Yeah,
So
he's the son of
Boba Fett's
son of
father, Jango Fett.
that's it.
Jango
Yeah,
Fett.
yeah.
That's it.
Jingle that's it. Yep. And he's actually the son of Sir Howard Morrison, one of our great icons over there as well. So
Yep.
come from good royalty, you could say as well. But yeah, look, it's God, it's a movie that every Kiwi probably can say about, clearly, like, every country has the same thing. The stuff that goes on anywhere, realistically, just in
Yep.
different forms, I suppose, as well. But for it to come out and actually highlight that, a lot of stuff over there was pushed under the rug, I suppose. It wasn't meant to be seen. And that really blew the lid off it quite well, and caused
Yeah.
a lot of reform as well, which is good. It's good to see a little bit of change in the country where they went, okay, we're not going to accept this shit anymore. Let's change it.
Yeah.
You know,
Hopefully, we can see something like that happen here in Australia as well to help,
yeah,
address a lot of the issues that our people have. But let's get back to
mm.
a more positive
Yeah,
topic,
bro.
mate. We are here to talk about DayZ. Now, you have a very long history with the game. You, in your bio,
Yes.
you were saying you started with DayZ Mod, then realized that your
Mm.
computer. I love the way you worded it. That you were lucky to get 20 frames per second just looking down at the ground whilst running. So you stopped playing and started watching the greats like Frankie and so on. And then
Yep.
when DayZ came out on console, you were able to get back into it. So that was a long gap between the mod and being able to play
Yes.
DayZ again. What was it
Yeah.
like for you, having had an experience playing the mod on PC and then playing on console? What was that must have been a massive like head fuck it to begin with.
Yeah.
But how did you go with getting used to it?
Mate, I think it was like almost like a freedom moment, if you know what I mean. Like, back in those days in Arma 2, and look, I was purely playing Arma 2, Arma and Arma 2. I think Arma was probably, from my recollection, one of the games that gave you that ability to play a Milsim game, basically. Where you can actually get a taste of what could come out, and when DayZ came out, it was like, holy shit, okay, what's this? And then yeah, like. Yeah, there was always the issues of not having enough frame rate. Always things, like takes you not 9 hours to get from one side to the other sort of thing. And I just thought, it's not going to really work anymore. I have to wait till I get a decent PC, and was lucky enough to be able to catch Frankie in that and catch the guys who were playing it. And I think the beauty of it is, you live through them while they're playing as well, and what videos they're putting out. And then when I heard when it was coming out in console, mate, it's like, okay, well, look, I can definitely get a console that's no dramas. And yeah, like it was different when it came out on console too. Like it wasn't obviously perfect. Like nothing's gonna be perfect. But it was a good rebonding moment, I suppose you could say, with a game that
Yep.
I knew I was going to enjoy. And
Did you have any reservations going into it? Like, I still have
Yeah.
not played DayZ on console. I can't bring myself to it. I've watched people streaming it. I've watched you stream it and stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah.
constantly in awe that people are able to play. Like, I struggle to play the game fucking well with a keyboard and mouse. I
Yep.
don't know how people play with a controller. Like, there's so many
Yeah.
things you have to be doing in DayZ and how you can play it with a controller. But I watch some people, and I swear to God, mate, they must have fucking 4 hands and 4 different controllers, like one-handed special controllers or something, because they're just
Yeah, I agree. Look, it's a detriment to them, man. It shows you their skill because, like, obviously, it didn't come out with mouse and keyboard to start with. It was always controller. I think probably because you're playing Xbox already, you're used to the controller within reason as well. I have gone back a couple of times. That I try to get over and play with the lads that are there that not a completely over on PC yet. And trust me, I pick up a controller, mate. It's like I've got 2 left hands. I'm that friggin' bad at it. That I'm sort of a fish out of water, really. And I think we just overlooked it, really. To be fair, we just went, okay, we've got the game. It doesn't matter what we need to to do it. We'll play it, and we just adapted to it as well. But I can tell you now, mate. Like I think you and I are in the same boat. It'd be like a man with 2 left feet walking around, no idea what I'm doing.
So you don't play on console anymore?
No, I do, man. I do. Yeah, I get over.
okay.
I get over when I can, and I think that's sort of the thing with console is, I suppose with PC as well. You make good mates. Like there are mates there that are Yeah, and I think this is the beauty of DayZ personally. There is no restrictions on being friends with someone. It's only you that restricts it, really. And, you know, you get mates around the world. And that's one of the things I think that really blew me away was the love of the game to start with, and also the people that actually generally want to play with each other, to enjoy it as well. So I do get on it. Obviously, I'm lucky that there are people around me, like I mentioned in the bio, like Glug the Bear Slayer, who we've been talking, and I've said it a few times in the streams where, I'd love to be able to have the financial gains to be able to actually help people get across from console to PC if they want to. And yeah, it's nice to go back home, mate. It's like a homecoming every now and then, get over there and touch base with it. And look, it's come a hell of a long way too. It needs to go a lot further, but it's come a hell of a long way. And I can't not play it. It's where I started. It was where the bread and butter started from. And yeah, pretty much probably solidified my love for DayZ more than anything else, to be fair.
Yep. Sorry, we just got to do a quick shout out. We've got Lad in chat. I know
Laddie.
he posted up. He actually got to go to the DayZ office in Prague, and looks like they
Ooh.
took him out to Tizzy as well. He's got some photos up on Twitter of him.
Nice.
See if I can find it.
You're a legend, lad. Mate, well done. It's sort of a dream for most people, isn't it? Really get over there and have a look.
No, it doesn't look like he's put him onto Twitter yet, but he's got a photo of him in the lab. But there are some in the Discord. So definitely check those out in our Discord, folks. Discord.gg/878 Survivor FM. I'm jealous. I am fucking jealous. Hey, Josie, how you doing, buddy? I've got to lock you in with a time to come on the show, mate. I'm loving some of the content you've got on your channel. But yeah, lad said it was stinking fucking hot as well, so he almost died. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, no,
Yeah.
look, I'm in awe of the people who play it on console, and as much as some people, and I do agree that changes were made to the game to make it more viable for console, which is kind of sad. I would have loved to have been able to see two distinct streams. One working on PC to keep it as varied as PC can do, but without console, who knows whether DayZ would have still been viable. I don't think. I'd actually be curious to see how many more copies they've sold. I know that figure's sort of out there, so we'll have to try and work that out. Like how many figures have been sold since the massive amount of sales when standalone was first announced. But the money that comes in from console, like what's the player base like here in Australia for you as a console player?
Yeah, pretty good. Like, there's probably like PC. There are certain. Actually, I'll say there were certain servers that people played. Clearly, like there were obviously ones that were popular, ones that everybody sort of went to for certain types of style or gameplay. Not so much now. Like obviously, when DayZ made it available for people to start using the JSON files and stuff to create stuff, that opened console up a hell of a lot more and actually allowed the guys who are the real fucking talented people that can create stuff to actually get in and change it up a bit. And whilst the biggest gripe on console out of anything, mate, is just the fact that there's not enough maps technically. We've still made do with the two that we've got, and obviously with modding, and you can't say modding obviously in the correct scheme, but adjusting, I suppose, would be the better way to say it. Adjusting the map to be a little bit different to what we're used to has certainly helped keep it going. We're sort of, and you'll know this as well, mate, we're sort of limited here in Australia and probably NZ. We don't get a lot of servers over here that we can, really jump into and play. And, I think PC, mate, I could name two pretty much straight away that are the be all end all sort of thing where, we know where you can go and congregate and catch up and sort of play.
There is a few more. Like here in Australia, you've got DayZ Down Under, you've got 1SK Rearmed, Northman have got a new one.
There you go.
There's True Survival, the one I've been playing lately, Banov as fuck, and Cold as fuck Namolsk. There's
It's good
there is
to
a
see.
few, but we're still we're very diluted though. We can't have too many, and there are a lot of servers. It's just not enough of a player base to support the
No,
amount of servers that are out there.
not at all. And I think that's the real issue in it, like population. And I think it's the thing that people need to overlook really as well. Like just get on and try. How do you know you're going to like a server unless you actually have a crack on it? You don't necessarily look at the number of people that are on there. Look at what the actual server is and what it's about. I think it makes a big difference, eh?
It does. It does. So,
Mm.
one other thing I wanted to talk to you about, which and I've got it in the thumbnail. You've
Oh
been
yeah.
working with was it Gronk from Beer
No.
Garden?
Fucking, I love that. I'll wait till I see him next. Glug the Beer Slayer. So there's the lads who set up the servers called the Beer Garden.
Which I've heard
Glug the
about. A
Beer
very,
Slayer,
very challenging PvE server.
yeah, very challenging. And a lot of fun. Like something to go and have a good laugh with and team up with your mates. And obviously a few of the guys that we know play it, quite a fair bit. And Glug's one of my mods as well. And I'd sort of, I have been saying quite a bit. It would be kind of cool because I know there are a few people that can't necessarily get over to PC. And look, and I was one of them. Like, it took me a while to get over on PC. The price of PCs, unfortunately, can be quite bad, I suppose. It has changed a bit now, where they're actually getting a lot more affordable as well. But we sort of cottoned on to an idea. I had been saying in the stream, look, I'd love to get you guys over. If there's a way that the channel can do it for you, we'll certainly do it that way. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. We'll suss it out. And Glug reached out. Obviously, I chat to him in stream and sometimes off as well. And sent through, I suppose you can call it a mini PC idea. And pretty much from that, it sort of started to build a little bit more momentum. I think we've done three people that have come across the PC from console.
Yep.
And that's not to take people from console whatsoever. Like, it's more just to help people, if that's the sort of direction they want to go in as well. So,
it is daunting.
gives people
There's a lot of people.
It is.
The PC Master Race, all that sort of stuff, but
Yes.
going into the PC gaming, it's daunting for a lot of people, especially these days with, the way the economy is and things getting a bit tighter and that.
Definitely.
You could, like, I've got a 2080 in mine. Or I think it's a 2080 Ti. I'm not sure. I don't pay too much attention to that all sort of stuff. But I know there are people out there still playing DayZ on 1080s, if not older graphics cards. You don't need to go all in with the latest high tech, all singing, all dancing, and you can still run DayZ in pretty decent graphics. So it's great to have people like yourself who are helping and guiding console players who do want to take that step up to the PC Master Race with what they need, because it could be a money pit getting a good gaming PC.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, I was running 1650, graphics card, and to be honest with you, I think unless you keep up with the information that you need, it's all fucking double Dutch or another language, really. To be fair, it's a scary thought, really. And my biggest thing was like, for me, I thought maybe I'm betraying the people I've been running with for so long that, by me going over to this, they think that, they're not good enough or whatever. But it was more a case of like, this is the direction I want to go. If I can support people and help people to do it, that's definitely the way to do it. And then it was purely off Glug's back that he did the first one. And we're just sort of slowly progressing people across as they want to. It doesn't mean that they're not going to stop, they're going to stop playing console. It just gives you the second choice. But nowadays I think PCs over here are a little bit cheaper. I ended up getting mine for about 1,500, so it wasn't too bad. Whereas the daunting ones of 3 to 4 to 5 grand, it's pretty easily spent realistically. And yeah, you're right about the economy, mate. That's probably half the battle, I think. In this day and age, anyway.
Like what Josie just wrote in chat there. It isn't the graphics card you need; it's the RAM for the frames. Once I added I think I added another 16 gig of RAM. My young fella bought it for me for Father's Day or something. It made the biggest difference to me with doing the show and streaming and playing and streaming. And yeah, the RAM I was surprised at just how much difference that made. And it wasn't that expensive either to get decent RAM. I think I've got 32 gig now. And I know you can go, kind of crazy with it, 64 and all the rest of it, but
Yeah.
it did
Yeah.
the job for me.
I think it was having the knowledge, mate, as well. Like, here's a PC, here's a box. Yeah, cool. Like, what do I do? Like, how do I go about doing it, and what am I meant to get? And I've had and Brendo as well. Obviously, I've had help from Brendan. Or Sinbad.
He's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
mate, he
and
is.
and
He
the
is.
the thing with Brendan as well is he's an older guy as well, but
Yep.
he knows his shit about it.
Yeah, and he also would give you the shit off his own back as well. So it's a detriment to him to how he does it as well. And he's never not approachable, which I think is another thing as well, because it's really kind of it can be bloody scary, eh? Like, if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to do it. And I think that goes with streaming as well. Like, it's a massive learning curve. Even just starting to stream, really, to be fair. Like, there's a lot to it, eh? And I think once you break down that sort of fear factor, then you can actually go, okay, I can do this. Like, all right, let's just take it bit by bit, and we sort of we looked at a couple of things and come up with a solution. I think that seems to be working. We've got, like I said, we've got 3 people over now. One of the guys, he's a dad, 3 kids. Like you said, the economics possibly can't afford it. But now, until he can afford it, he can play, whatever he wants to play, console or PC, and seems to be enjoying it as well. So it just, you got to make, you got to leave the world with more than you fucking take, really. You got to put back, just to
Exactly.
really get something out. I think,
It's why we do our Christmas show every year, just to do something nice for people. I've just got to quickly thank Buddha, 6 months, mate. Thank you so much. And Josie Garfunkel, thank you for becoming a new member, mate. Welcome to the community. We've got very, very entry level rates on that, folks. A few Aussie dollars a month, and you get immediate access to the VODs. And if you like what we do here, you can choose a higher level and get a few more extra benefits. Not too many more, but shout outs and things like that. Which reminds me, Roger Rooster, the good Cluck. I have to thank you. You're at our highest tier, and you are meant to be getting a live shout out every episode. And I keep on bloody forgetting because I'm lucky that I remember how to wake up. But yeah, I cannot thank you enough, mate, for your support at that top tier, and everyone who chooses to support us, whether it be by buying a mug or whatever. But yeah, I've got a goal this year, and I'm trying to work out ways to get more revenue coming in. But I want to find someone who it's something I looked at doing last year, and I was linked with sort of tentatively linked with that dodgy company that self
Oh, yeah.
combusted. But
Yep.
I want to get and be able to give away a top of the line, as top of the line as we can afford. That is DayZ themed gaming PC. I want to get the glass etched with the DayZ logo, and maybe the DayZ Podcast logo on the graphics card or something inside it, and just a nice artwork tower as a giveaway, because it's 10 years this year, man. 10 years of DayZ
Oh,
standalone.
shit.
It's just
Yeah,
insane.
it's gone quick, eh? Like, it really has.
Yeah.
Like, if you it'd be quite cool to see a bit of a timeline, eh? Like a clip timeline, from start to
There's
where we
probably
are
kids
now.
playing this game who weren't even born when the mod came out, mate.
Yes, 100%, man. Like 100%. Yeah, or I had no idea that there was a friggin' mod as well. So, I'm actually, I think from what I see, most people seem to have jumped on probably around about 3 to 4 years ago. Seems to be where the big sort of uptake could be as well. You've got us old buggers here have been dicking around with it for quite some time, and I say it quite a bit. It's the days of where you break a fucking leg and it takes you all day just to crawl across the map to try and find a stick of morphine to try and be able to walk
Yep.
again. So it's definitely in a better spot than it's ever been, and this is why it is what it is. And there's no other fucking game like it. Like, there's a lot of games that try to be like it, but there's no other game like it.
Exactly. It holds it out, and because you've given me a good segue there into something else I wanted to talk with you about because you are someone very close to my own heart, even though I haven't forayed outside of DayZ in some time. But you
Mm.
also play some of the other games, the imitators, so people like to call them scum, and you're quite
Yep.
hyped about Rooted as well. And
Yeah.
mate,
Yeah. Definitely.
the reason I wanted to talk about it was DayZ's very lucky in that it's a game. Rust is the same. It's a game that it's just got so much longevity because it's not a campaign. You can never finish it per se. You can get bored with it for sure. You can
Yeah.
achieve an objective in it, but no matter how long you've been playing it for, you'll still get that itch if you step away from it to go back and play it. But it's important that people keep on looking at other games as well to see what else is out there because DayZ pretty much started a genre um, with Dean Hall's crazy idea from when he was on that survival course, and it inspired so many other
Yeah.
games. But it, how do you get past? Because one of the biggest roadblocks I hear is DayZ does this better, or it's not DayZ. Of course, it's not DayZ. And if a game just tries to be DayZ, then that's stupid. But Scum. There's aspects of Scum I absolutely love, and I've said this many a time, like the crafting. But there's other aspects of it
Yeah.
that I don't like as much, but I can still appreciate them for what they are, which is the I wouldn't even call them soft skills, but the skill system. Where it's physically impossible. There is no way you can see someone if your perception isn't high enough and their camouflage or stealth score is too high. But that's a gameplay mechanic, and I think that's great that they're doing their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's something that it's based around that survival stuff, isn't it? Realistically, like Daisy's sort of like the ex-girlfriend that you can always go back to. I think, like it's always there, and it's always nice to go back if you're feeling a little bit jaunted or disjointed. I think my obstacle straight away was shit. If I go and stream something different, people aren't going to fucking watch. And then it was one of the lads, Sergeant Monk, who said to us, mate, actually it was a couple of them, to be honest with you. Actually said, it doesn't matter what you fucking play, mate. We're here to see you. And that sort of hit home quite a bit. Where I'm like, okay, like people are coming in to interact with you. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to enjoy the game or like the game, but it's how you make it become enjoyable. I think is the key as well. And Scum itself, look, it's holding a good spot in my heart at the moment. I'm a DayZ born and bred person. I'll always be on DayZ. That's a given. Like that's never going away. And I think for a lot of streamers who are starting out, that's key. Like you need to, God, sound like a wise old prick, but you need to be able to try and be diversible as well. Like you need to diversify a little bit because in theory, people aren't always going to be there to watch the game. They're there to interact with you. And I think that's really the biggest blocker for some people. For me, it was anyway. Once you remove that, then you can actually relax and be yourself as well. And Scum's come night and day, mate. You can compare DayZ and Scum in regards to the way that they've developed as well. You had DayZ the way it was when it started, pretty much like Scum was pretty much the same way. It was pretty, within reason, pretty crappy. But they're all growing together. And most of the guys that come in that are new into the chat, if I'm playing Scum or DayZ, there's no more comparison. Like there obviously is a bit of a relatable idea of it, but there's no comparison anymore. It's you're playing one or the other, and I think DayZ set the standard, hands down. No one can argue that. Like quite frankly, DayZ's the one that started all this. If Rocket hadn't have done what he done, we wouldn't be where we are. So, I think you need to look at it like best form of flattery, mate, is someone copying you. So any other games that are trying to, that are trying to sort of do the same thing, then take that as a good thing. So, but there is room for others as well. Like there are aspects of DayZ that they don't cover that others do, and that's where Scum comes in, I think, too. Where, like you said, soft skills. If you actually look into the mechanics of the game itself, there's a hell of a lot there that people don't know. And I think you're always learning too, which is kind of cool. Like you're never not learning, and that's where the updates come in with DayZ. Every time an update comes in, there might be something new, so you're learning again. And I think that's maybe that's a thirst that everybody has. You want to do new stuff or learn new stuff or try new stuff, and sometimes I think restrict yourself if you don't look at other things as well.
You definitely do. You definitely do need to, mate. It's just, you know, keep yourself open to other ideas, and you know, be prepared to try something. But I know myself. I look at most games and I still compare them to DayZ. It's just
Yeah.
my problem. Michael said something in chat before,
Yes.
and I'd be curious to know from the more tech people here. But with the console side of it, he was saying that they really need to optimize DayZ for the new gen of consoles. But if they do
Yep.
that, will that make it obsolete on the previous gen? That's something I don't understand. So
Yeah.
if there's someone in
It's
chat who understands that better than me, because I do think there's an obligation that if you start a game on a console, unless you go to another version of it, yeah, it's unfair to remove it because not everyone can afford a new console. You know,
yeah.
they're not cheap, especially like we said before. You know, things are getting a bit more tight these days. But yeah, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, you do, and you got to wonder the grand scheme. They brought out obviously the X and the S systems, the series that come out recently. To obviously look for that next level gaming. That okay, this is the future progression. This is how we're going to go. Um, and are they happy to leave stuff behind? Is probably the real question. Like, are you happy to lose out on things as well? But I definitely think they need to optimize it. I mean, look at Reforger. Reforger is leaps and bounds different, obviously, on an X and an S series compared to if you try to play it on an Xbox One or a One S, which wouldn't run anyway. So maybe they need to bite the bullet and just go, yeah, let's do it.
I just saw something here. Give me 1 second. Um,
60 million, yeah, that's insane.
yeah, it's going to be a tough a tough decision for them.
But I can sort of revert that back in the way that The Last of Us is probably the real eye opener. The Last of Us, when they ported that over to PC, that was horrendous. Like it was horrible. It started on console, then come over to PC, and when that first sort of got released, it was probably one of the worst sort of situations you could be in, realistically. And that's sort of the opposite, really, isn't it?
Sorry, I was just checking out a link that I have, and I saw something that may be of interest to a lot of the modders out there.
Sweet. Yeah, I think this sort of, I think on console we're waiting for that next aha moment, really, eh?
Yeah, definitely. So, Humble Bundle have got a pretty cool package, the complete Blender 3D modeling online course mega bundle. Uh, and I know that that's something that a lot of the modders use to make things like buildings and stuff like that. Blender. So, yeah, that's a pretty impressive little package there. Um, $782 worth of software,
Jesus.
and you can get it for what does it look like, $41 or something, or whatever you want to pay. Uh, yeah,
It's a decent amount, man. Especially if you're gonna, like one of the lads, DayZ Philosophy, he's starting to get into that side of things. Sort of stop the string side, wants to get into that modding or terrain building sort of stuff. And I think that's a beauty too. Like obviously see a lot of people that are bringing out new maps every now and then, and Bitterroot's a prime example, mate, where you're going with your passion and creating something that's really, really, off the charts realistically for what it is too. So, yeah, maybe it's become more available recently, isn't it? Like it's more out there.
I'm a pro of a blender when it comes to frozen margaritas. That is. That's the only margaritas my missus likes as well is frozen ones. She doesn't like it when they're the liquid. She wants a frozen margarita.
I don't know what it is, mate. Must be a female thing because Mrs. is the same.
I'm not really huge on the frozen alcoholic drinks, but I do love myself a grape frozen drink from McDonald's.
Yeah, little indulgences, mate. Eh?
Exactly. That's one of my one of my guilty pleasures that I do love. But yeah, mate. So how is your streaming journey going? Because you're regular as mate. You're always online. What's your community growth been like? Like we talked earlier about your YouTube channel, and how
Yeah.
4,000 subscribers, mate. That's no mean feat.
Yeah, and I'm probably ignorant to it, realistically, to be fair. I use obviously Video IQ, which if people don't use Video IQ,
It's so good, isn't
it's
it?
fucking yeah, and anybody out there who's sort of in that phase of little bit of a struggle or how do I do this or that, I'd encourage you to go and have a look at Video IQ. It does give you. I'm not really a stats man, mate. Like I'm not that fucking intelligent to be fair to be able to decipher shit. But they make it really easy. And it
They
certainly
do.
certainly helps. Like it gives you obviously the best sort of solution for what you're doing at the time as well. So yeah, like I used to be worried about like I used to be worried about numbers and shit like that, but I just realised like it doesn't matter about the numbers. Like I try to be as regular as I can be. Like most people, mate, I get the shits. You get the stage where you sort of get the old, just don't have the mentality for it, or maybe I'm a little bit like. For me, it's personal. Like I and the missus will laugh at this because she it's constantly yeah go live. And like I can't, I just don't have it in me. She's like whatever. But until you're actually doing it, I think it's more a case of if I can't put out the best that I can do, then I won't go live. Like I want to make sure that I'm
People
putting.
need to learn that, mate.
Like it. I mean, it hurts me not to go live. Put it that way. But I don't want to just go live for the sake of going live. I think I've got people that come in and watch me that pay. And let's break it down. People are coming and paying to watch me, or they're watching for free. I'd like to put out the best that I can. With what I've got at the time. It doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be good all the time, but it's going to be genuine. So like that's where I think. For me, that's the number one thing. Like if I'm not going to give you guys the quality, or fucking quality, if I can call it that, the quality or the the laughs, then I won't go ahead with it realistically.
Yeah. No, like I said, mate. So a lot of people need to learn that if you're not in the right headspace, it's very emotional.
Yep.
Particularly
Yep.
for me, probably one of the best things I've ever done, mate, was scale it back to I do my one stream a week, which is the podcast, and sometimes I think about it, but I've just got so much going on in my own life, mate. This works well
Yeah.
for me. I've got to get doing more of the what do you call it? The spotlights. So yes, Foxy, I do remember that. But this is working well for me. I get to do it once a week. I jump into Discords. I chat with people. I jump into the
Yeah.
87.8 Discord. I sit there. If anyone wants to come in and say hi, they can. But yeah, I don't do this with a goal of ever making a big business out of it. But
Yeah.
it's something I do. It's my hobby. And that's why I'm
Yep.
able to come into this with a good headspace. But when you, like, do you ever have goals of being a full-time streamer or anything like that, or is it just a hobby for you as well?
No, mate. Look, yeah. Look, let's fucking get into it, and I'll tell you. Like, I'll be as honest as I can be about everything. Like, like, did I ever think I'd be doing this? No, had no idea I'd be doing this whatsoever. Had no fucking idea in the world that I'd actually be doing this whatsoever. It's been, and it always is, and it still will be probably till I end up not doing it. It's always a learning curve, and you can always learn from what you do. And I think for me, it's been a sense of finding a place where it's not so much where you fit or you belong, but where you can actually be yourself.
Yeah.
You can actually let your guards down, let your walls down, just be fucking you. And that generally,
That's
if
so
you've been,
important as well, mate. Don't
yeah,
pretend to be
yeah,
someone you're not. There's
no,
so many examples of people like Boogie 2988, if you're aware of who he is, where people try to be someone they're not, and you can only
yep,
keep that charade up for so long. Just be yourself,
100%,
and you know, for
yep,
some people it's uncomfortable, but you've got to realize that maybe you're just not the most interesting person to watch. It doesn't mean you're not a nice person, but
dead right,
there's some people who can, put on that high energy show because that comes natural to them. Your Lax Hawthorns, your Uncle Ray Rays, Doctor Disrespects, and stuff like that. They're able to, hyper accentuate things about them. But
yep,
yeah, like Michael
I
said,
agree,
be
man.
yourself and do a job you love. You're guaranteed to be happy. And that's,
Yeah,
I've said this many a time myself, mate. A lot of people get upset with me, but at least they know what I'm like. Warts and all, I am who I am. I put my foot in my
mate.
mouth, and you have always come across as a genuine person to me as well, mate. You don't pretend to be anything you're not.
I can't be, mate. It's so much fucking cheaper and easier being yourself, man. So why bother? Like,
It's all about that mana.
realistically, yeah, and like, and this will sound probably stupid as well, I suppose. Like, I view it from this point of view. Like, I've got kids, right? The kids know who I am. Kids know I'm doing what I'm doing. And being an old fella, mate, that's probably, there was
How old are
always a
you?
stigma about being 46, brother. So
You're not that old, mate. You're spring chicken.
getting there. We're getting there, mate. Like I said, it was a little bit hard to rise this morning, mate. And,
Oh,
that's when things are starting to,
and I have to
starting to
do this
go. So,
every bloody week, mate.
yeah, that's it. But I think, yeah, there's always a fear in there. There's always a fear of shit. How do I behave? How do I be? How do I, like, just fucking stop, drop it, just be you. Um, you know, the genuine people will come through. You're gonna get people who come in and go and come in and go and come in and go, and that's pretty standard in anything as well. And I think like what Michael said there, think if you're able to find a lifestyle, it isn't a job. It's just what you do, and that transgress through what you're streaming and how you're streaming as well. And you know, people can hear if you're not right. Like, if you're not right within yourself, um, things can be off, obviously, and rather than force yourself to do something, take a day. It's only a day. Like, regardless if you're chasing partnership and shit like that, and chasing all these other things, and like I managed to achieve like partnership on Twitch pretty quickly, and that's due to a particular streamer raiding me a couple of times, mate, on console, and that really blew it up big time. And I've had and I have discussions with myself about this regularly, mate, where I kick myself in the ass a bit, but then I sort of go back to why I didn't. So I got offered a Facebook partnership and shit, getting paid to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was only probably 8 to 9 months into streaming. Had no fucking idea what I was doing, to be honest with you. You know, I think for any streamer, 1 to 2 years, I think, is where you start to sort of find your groove a bit more as well. You're sort of settling in a bit more, and you probably developed a lot more skills that you didn't realize you've actually developed all as well. And look, I turned that down. So it's I don't know. It's a toll. There is a toll of it, eh? Like there's always a toll of it. I think most streamers are perfectionists in a way. They want to get it right. They want to do it right, and they want to do it right by you and the people watching as well. So that, in its own sense, has a toll on yourself, and the mental side of things as well.
Again, I have to chuckle at what Michael just wrote in the chat.
Yeah, did right. Yeah, and I have dark days, mate. I have fucking days where I just go, fuck this,
Yeah,
I'm done. Like,
yeah.
I can't do it. And then I have days where in real life takes over, and I have to fucking front up and do that shit as well. And would I love to go full time? Like I obviously I left my job in March, and I've been sort of plugging away at it, since then. And yet, stupidly enough, I think when I was working, I was probably doing more for some reason. Like I seemed to be pumping a lot more hours when I was actually having a full-time job. Whereas now I'm not technically working. I'm looking to go back to work, and I take my hat off to those that make this a job and a living. That's some fucking fortitude. You got to be able to roll with whatever happens, eh?
Yep. And you've got to realise that don't be too hard on yourself. If you do
Yes.
make mistakes, try to learn from it, and just realise that life goes on, and don't be too
Yep.
judgmental of others as well. I said this to someone just the other day online, in a DM to them. Try not to hold others to your own standards. You'll generally, for the most part, be constantly let down. And
Yeah.
Michael's right there. A good streamer will help their audience feel better.
100%.
In return, the community will help them when they need it. And that comes back to what you said, Sin, about don't go on when you know you're not emotionally ready, because, a lot of people like to tune in and watch their streamers and all the rest of it because it's an escape from the reality and all the terrible shit, the
Definitely.
fires in fucking Hawaii and bloody
Yep.
former presidents being bloody subpoenaed and wars in Eastern Europe, and it's just
Yeah.
there's so much bad crap happening. The economy, like we talked about. Some people just like to just forget about all that crap and just have a sit down and a chuckle and watch someone
Yeah.
be entertaining.
See, and this is the thing too. Like, the people are giving up their biggest fucking commodity or biggest thing, and that's their time. And time's something you can't get back. So, it's I want to create an atmosphere where people can just fucking unwind. And there's no greater gift than someone putting a message in chat saying, mate, I appreciate you giving me a bit of an escape for the 4 hours or 5, whatever hours you're on. That to me, I think, is more the reward than anything else, realistically, as well. So, you can say we got in this to do it for money and stuff. Like, realistically, unless you're really, really up there, monetary is probably not going to be the biggest of things that'll come in, but gratitude, time, and thanks will be. So, I wouldn't put out what I wouldn't want back.
Yep.
And that's sort of where, you have dickheads that come in, you have dickheads that go. Look, that's just a part of life. But generally, you have your base of people that come in, and you know them, and they know you. And that's that connection, I think, as well. So, I'm not a fucking spiritualist or shit like that. There's no mumbo jumbo sort of stuff going on. But I'm a bloke who, for some reason, decided to stream, and I enjoy what I do, and I hope anybody that pops in enjoys what they see as well, and feel free to be able to enjoy themselves as well.
And whatever works to keep you motivated, keep doing it. That's the other big thing as well, folks. Just do what you.
Because let's be real, mate. Your hardest critic is yourself.
Yes.
So you've only got to beat yourself, basically, eh? If you're beating yourself every day, and that sounds really fucking bad now. I just realised I said that. But if you're beating yourself every day, you're doing all right.
Yep. Now we've got a different topic to talk about this week, mate.
Yeah.
Let me
Sweet.
jump back
Let's do
to the list. Now, obviously, we talked about it a bit before, but our boy Lad getting himself
Yes.
over to the office there.
Ooh.
Let me. Click on
When do we get a business card, mate? Huh?
That's what I said to him. What, is this a job interview? And he goes, no, mate, just
Yeah.
taking some time off. And it was nice to see Scotty post a photo of him there. But yeah, I am so jealous. I am so jealous.
Yep.
It's a dream for me one day to go there and get to go to all the different locations around, Tizzy, and sadly the airport got destroyed in the war in Ukraine. The northeast airfield is, but the building there is based on. But yeah, there's so Green Mountain, that infamous red barn, the one at Starry, Savoy there, and the church, and I would be. You should be jealous. Get fucked, he says in chat. Yeah, cheeky bugger. But I said to the lad he should apply for the community manager job. because um, he's well connected in the community. But the other thing I love is that he's well connected with the modders, who we see a lot of content creators get shared in the community spotlight each week in that. But
Mm.
I would love to see more of the modding, and not just the PC modding, but the console stuff as well.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
what Dom was able to port the up map over to console for everyone. And that's just been going gangbusters. I know he just released version 2.0 of that. But yeah, it'd be great to have someone with potentially, I don't know much about what Scotty's knowledge of the tech side of it is, but he said he's not really interested in that role. But but it'll be a foot in the door, mate. A foot in the door.
Yeah, opportunity, isn't it?
Mhm.
I think also modders are probably, let's be real, they're the backbone at the moment, eh? Server owners obviously the heart, modders are the backbone. The work that those guys do and server owners do is fucking relentless. Like, these are people who put their time and their money into something for you. It's not, I mean, you're going to get ones that have ego, I understand that, but I would say 9 out of 10 of them are doing it out of the goodness of their own fucking heart because they love the game. They want to bring something for you to
That's an
enjoy and
interesting
play.
analogy. That okay? So if DayZ was a human body, a living organism, um, what did you say? The modders are the heart,
No, the backbone. So
the
they're the backbone
backbone.
of the community.
The
Yeah, and the server owners are the heart of the. Well, it could be the brain of the heart, I suppose.
so
But
the
the heart,
devs would be the
basically.
brain.
Yep. Yeah, they would be.
Then
Yeah.
the playing community is the muscles and the rest of the body. So what are the content creators?
The feet for the foundation, mate. We try to hold it together. So, or the skin, I suppose you could say. We keep everything intact. Well, I mean, it's a bit of a far cry, but without people who are wanting to, and they're not trying to take away the trueness of the game. They're trying to adapt it so it can be enjoyed by different people in different aspects as well. I think so.
Yeah.
They need a lot more recognition, man. Like honestly, server owners sometimes go unnoticed, mate. And like how many people, you could say, hey, I run on the server, but I don't know who owns it. I don't know their story, and I don't know why they chose to do a server either. And console's a little bit different, because obviously it's such a limited thing that you can do within reason. And you've had a mate of mine, Half Goblin, on, who is there's Half Goblin and there's Teabag as well, who are quite stand up people in the console community, and the stuff that they're doing just to bridge a gap, I suppose you could say, is really fucking interesting. And Half Goblin brought that Essica console map sort of out, just so people, it was Essica, brought the Essica map out so people could actually have a bit of a run on console or see what it's like. And whilst it wasn't 100%ly accurate, it still gave people a taste of what you can do, and the creativity that people have, and I think they don't get enough love, personally.
It's interesting talking about content. The dev stream and the one before it. Michael said in chat there they do need to have a guest on when they do their dev streams. Let that person play the game while they do the talking. Streaming when you barely can play the game is not a good look. And I said it is a bit of funny, but yeah, it's a bit of a meme, but yeah, it's kind of funny how bad most of them are. They need to get Scotty B on to show them, because I know he's a hardcore console DayZ player. But yeah, it's you watch some of them stream and it's like, oh my god, they're literally the meme of modders who spend all their time modding the game and have no idea how to actually play the game properly, like some of the content creators do. But yeah,
it'd be the equivalent of a mechanic not knowing how to drive a car, wouldn't it? In a way, I can fix it, but by fuck, I can't drive it.
It's funny. It is funny.
They do need a bit of love, mate. They need and I say it quite a bit, and to most of the guys when they come into chat and stuff, like, these are people, server owners are people who put their own fucking time and money into this stuff, and you've got the hard neck to sit there and complain about shit. Like, realize they're trying to do the best they can. Maybe they're limited for whatever reason, but they're still trying to literally do the best they can. And And they, I don't think they get I might be wrong, but I just don't think they get the love they deserve.
Yeah. Yep. And that was something that during the dev stream, I left a comment. I might actually play the clip because
Yeah.
part of it was a very, very nice thing they said about us. But the reason I left a comment was we have Martin back working at Bohemia. And he was the former, I think he was the former brand and PR manager. But he was there during the dark times for DayZ. And let me see where did I post that? I think it was in DayZ chat.
It's a real labour of love, mate, eh? Like, realistically, innit? Like, you're not doing it for the fame and autonomy, you're doing it for the love.
Here we go.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know where I came from.
Oh, our favorite podcast is messaging us. The 87.8 Survivor FM.
Oh,
Is that he remembers you
Hello,
very
guys.
well, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
even interviewed you. So
was I on the day? Ah, okay, I was.
yeah, and he's saying that you were part of the community team in the hardest part of DayZ, which I
That's true.
I kind of also can sign this because I joined at that time,
Yeah.
and it was really rough with the whole vibe in the community and in the office.
Yeah. It was very hard. for
Because there was a
everybody.
lot of people who were working on the switch to partly to the new engine, so we had a lot of work
Yeah.
basically hidden from the community that we couldn't show before
Yeah.
it's ready.
It was
and-
like the big drought where there was
Yeah.
nothing coming out, and it was.
And
kind of-
it's amazing redemption story actually. We are so happy that DayZ is doing so well now because there were times where the concurrent players weren't that high.
Yeah.
And I think that last year we
That's a lot
actually
So, it's like,
But it was it must have been hard for them working during that period, Sin, because that was.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's good to see
Take your hat
Martin
off.
back there.
And it's a return to the roots, really, isn't it? So you've got the original sort of guys that are coming back to maybe strengthen it a bit more and make the game a lot more resolved as well. So it's a labour of love, eh? Like, it really, really is.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say most people don't do this, for anything other than the love of the game.
Yeah. Speaking of love of the game, something else I have to show you guys.
It's going to get over that smooth baby skin, mate, I'll tell you.
Are you watching the stream I'm sharing?
Yeah, just watching it now, mate. I think I'm a little bit delayed, but yeah, watching it now. Ooh, what's this? Horses, eh? That's not a bad idea, eh? Right.
They did want to do them in DayZ because it
Yep.
makes sense. It's
Definitely.
a mode of transport that doesn't need fuel, just grass and water, pretty much. And
let's be real,
that
man.
model looks beautiful. Hunter is amazing.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
just,
Mate,
uh,
what a
the-
talent. Absolute talent.
he obviously loves what he does, mate.
Yeah, and you can see it because of the time taken to do stuff, hey? Like Dump Grad's another one,
Mounting
man.
animation. It's a bit janky. I know he's limited. It'd be great if the player actually, wiggled a bit in the chair, but geez, he's doing a good job of what he's got. There's no proprietary tools to do all this stuff with the custom animations. He's having to, like he was on the show just the other week. So, yeah, if you want to know more about how he's doing it all, but it's amazing. I just love what he's doing.
He's got a talent, man, and I think people should be harnessing it a lot more as well because it's not something that would, sort of devalue the game. It's something that would actually make the game, a lot more of what it should be as well. So, it's life mods that actually are reflectable in life, I suppose, eh?
Speaking, we were just talking about BI. Did you see that they're advertising for 2 positions in DayZ?
I've seen one. I didn't know there were 2. Jesus, wouldn't that be interesting, eh? Like,
So they're looking for a community manager, which we just talked about. I also sent it to Dak Guy Sill, who we had on the show a few weeks back as well. I think he'd be great for it. He knows the game and he's studying marketing at the moment. But all the information is in the description of the video down below, folks. I'll put it in there so you can check it. But the other one, which they actually advertised on the BI account, is a QA automation engineer. So,
yeah, look, it's that's a life, isn't it? Really, like, I mean, my mind goes straight away to a couple of people I think would be fantastic, and one of them is Project Lemons. Absolute, for a young guy, mate, on point. Like, I've had the pleasure of running with him and doing a few things behind the scenes with him and being involved with him, and their passion excites you. Eh? Like they're there for the right reason, which is fucking good. And what better fucking job to go for, eh?
this is one that lads should be applying for as well. Any of the modders, because that's what they're after, is someone who's a modder or interested in modding the games. There was no other tertiary requirements, which is great that they're putting jobs out there, which I wouldn't call this entry level because there's no fucking way I could do this, mate.
Me either, mate. No,
I could barely even manage the central loot economy of a server, let alone stuff about modding. But yeah, it'd be great to see someone known in the DayZ modding community get a role like this, because it would just be so. It's great seeing how many of them they've employed so far.
And I think it builds trust as well. But hey, like if you get someone that we know that is pretty much what they do and how they do it, then the game will be in good hands. Not that it's not necessarily in bad hands. It just offers more direction.
Sorry, just replying to a message. Now, there was another thing there that I wanted to showcase. 1 second. There's another Twitter account called Survival Game News, and I'm quite a fan of them. They talk about basically survival games in general, but they actually reached out to me and asked if we could do a poll with our community, which we did. And I'll just go to our channel.
I've been following these guys for a while, mate. Eh?
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
It's good to see. Yeah, they're doing their own little wee spin on things, and it looks really, really good.
Yeah. Now, did you see this poll pop up? We've got 41 votes on it. But which of these activities is your favourite in survival games? Building, crafting, harvesting, hunting, looting, fighting and surviving, exploring or discovering. I'll copy the.
This is a chat that myself and one of the bro or old Diddy Sniper have quite regularly. DayZ's designed to play it whatever way you want to play it, right? It's up to you how you play your game. Like no one should or can really criticize anybody for playing the game the way they want to play. Like it's up to them.
No right way to play it other than the way that you want to play it. But that's only your right way. Someone else can play it differently, and as long as they're following the rules of whatever server they're on.
Did right. And I think that's the uniqueness of it, eh? You're not sort of restricted to, should I have to do it this way, and we're in a box and that's it. I'm not really a PvP person. And what I mean by that is I don't actively go out looking for it.
No.
If it happens, it happens.
There are better games for PvP, in my opinion.
Did right. Like I play Tarkov, obviously. That's in a bit of a shit state at the moment, but I play Tarkov, and there's PvP there if you really want to go and get into it. And But for me, when I seen that pop up, it's more the crafting and the building and the surviving. I think it's really the big thing for myself, eh? Or the exploration, I suppose, would be the better way to say it. I'm a person that likes to get lost, and try and sort of work my way out of a situation that I get myself into.
Sorry, I just saw what Michael typed in chat there. Horse is a good idea. You can ride at the tizzy, then eat it when you run out of food. And it reminded me of this. All animals want to live. Where do you draw the line? About here. But I saw another version of it, which was Apocalypse, and the line was moved to horses and rabbits. I ain't eating dogs or cats. No, never. I'm just not doing
Never.
that. That's my line.
Nah,
Is right there.
I'm the same.
I'm pretty sure
Yep.
I've probably eaten horse meat. You definitely have if you live in the UK. I know they had that scandal a while back where they rabbit. I've had rabbit before. It's not bad. Not great. You can't live on it though. I've heard of a famous story of a bloke basically starving to death per se from just lack of nutrients. He had plenty of rabbit, but that was all he had, and he ended up dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Look, I'm the same. I know obviously other countries in the world, that's part of the staple. I get it, all good, but nah, not for me. Like even horse, I suppose, as well. Like that's obviously again different parts of the world. Obviously, survive on it and thrive on
I
it.
would have to not
I'm
know
not
the
going out
horse.
looking for it.
If it's a pet horse, I ain't
yeah.
eating it.
I'd have to not know it is a horse, I think, as well. Like,
Yeah.
if it was a stew, mate, then I'd be all right. It wouldn't bother me. But yeah. I mean, I've done croc. I'm a mad fan of kangaroo.
Not a
Ostrich as
fan?
well. They're pretty similar. No, I am. Yeah, I am a fan of
Oh,
kangaroo.
I can't stand it. Oh,
You
no,
can't?
it's
No?
just I've probably
Strong?
told this story. If you're playing DayZ Bingo, here we go. When I was in the army, I did a survival course, and the final phase of it was 7 days surviving in the North Queensland wilderness.
Yep.
And we had a lucky encounter. One of the guys managed to kill a kangaroo. Hand-to-hand combat. He had a machete, but he managed to take down the kangaroo. And we ate kangaroo for about 4 days, and I just can't eat it anymore. I had it fried, I had it boiled, roasted, and I even went to like a 5-star restaurant and ordered the kangaroo, and it was just too gamey. I can't eat it anymore. It's disgusting to me. Ugh.
Yeah, it's a taste, like it is. And, like venison as well. Venison's a lot. I mean, meat-wise, very similar. Taste-wise, totally different, I think, personally.
Yeah.
It is definitely gamey. Good meat, though. Like, really good. Good for you.
Very healthy, yeah. Very healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to get past, I suppose, that, what am I eating sort of situation as well. So,
Josie Garfunkel in chat there just touched on back on the PvP topic.
Yeah.
There are better games for PvP, but there is no game for me like DayZ with the PvP. And it's why I don't like playing PvE servers per se. I don't mind them. I'm not against them. But there is nothing like that threat of that fear of, I was, like I said, I was just on Bitterroot last night, and I'm up at that airfield in the northeast, and I was so scared, because you don't know if someone's around you. There's certain tells, whether there's infected spawning and if you're far enough away. But have you been up to that location yet?
Yeah, look, I was up. Look, I got to say, shout out to Maddie, man. Like, hands down. Fucking the map is, I think it's a map that's gonna generate a lot of fun times for a lot of people. I was up there last play test. I've only played once this play test. I'm planning probably be playing today. I don't know. Depends on, like, I got a run coming up this afternoon anyway. But it keeping you on your toes is the key, eh? Like, it's that suspense shit, eh? Like, there's no other game that does it like that, personally. The fucking, like, everybody can remember, and I'm pretty sure this will be true, everybody can remember the first time they either killed someone or got killed or had that adrenaline rush for the first time, and it doesn't change. Doesn't matter how many friggin' hours you have in the game. Doesn't matter, how long you've been playing. You're still going to have that initial chemical release of the excitement of what's going on, especially when you don't control that situation as well. So it's just, there's nothing else that taps into the system like that, eh?
Exactly.
And that area up north is nuts, mate. It can be absolutely freaking mental up there. I was watching a fella yesterday, and there were guys driving in cars all over the airfield and shit like that. It's like, just unpredictable is probably the best way to put it.
Like Michael said, DayZ gives you the final circle in PUBG tension, but it's the whole time you're playing, not just the final 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there are some people who it doesn't. They've gotten so good at PvP that I genuinely think they mustn't get much thrill from it. Whereas for me, I've said it many a time, and I'll say it again, I don't ever want to become a PvP pro. I'd like to be a bit better, but I don't want to lose that fear that you get when you hear a shot ring out, or what was that? You see a player. Like on Bitterroot at the moment, he's got this thing where there's rocks, large, tall, skinny rocks in the trees, like just to this. And every fucking time I go past one, like, is that a player? Is that a player? I'm constantly on edge. And as much as it's probably not good for my heart, but that's one of the things I love about DayZ. The infected that just randomly sprint. Best thing ever. What? Why is this? Is it sprinting because it's programmed to? Yeah, it's one of those runner ones. Oh, God. Okay, I can calm down. Oh, there's another one over there. What was that? I love being on edge when I play DayZ. And it's why I don't like playing PvE servers, as much fun as they can be. And I've been meaning to get on and try that beer garden because Brendan Sinbad, our mate, swears by it.
He does.
I've got to get on there and play with him and Moonshine. Shout out to my boy Moonshine, who's having some health issues at the moment.
I hope he's doing all right too. Actually, like Mooney's,
he's a good bloke,
one of the
Moonshine.
legends. He is, mate. He is. And humble as fuck as well. Like, let's be
Very
real.
down to
For
earth.
the shit that's going on, mate. He has every right not to be. But one of the most genuine guys you'll ever fucking talk to, and and get the pleasure of running with as well. So, I really hope he does get well soon. And that's the beauty of DayZ, mate. You meet people you'd never meet in real life anyway. So, it's,
exactly.
It's a bridge builder, eh? Bridges that gap.
Yep, I agree, Michael. Like you just said there, mate. I love that moment when you've been walking in the woods for 15 minutes talking to your buddy, not a sound but the wind, and suddenly the silence is shattered by the sound of a close shot. Yeah, it's you've always got to stay on your toes playing DayZ, because the second you drop your guard is when you get the absolute living bejesus scared out of you.
I think the other thing is too, like, I've had a situation where I've logged in, taken 5 steps, and stood on a fucking bear trap.
Yeah.
So there's the holy shit. Okay, now I've got to be on my toes about this, and like it brings out the creativity in people and how you can actually hurt someone without being too fucking stupid about it, I suppose you could say. But it's the only game that keeps me on my toes, and it's the only game that I physically get that fucking thrill sometimes out of when something happens. It's human versus human, not sort of human versus AI sort of shit sometimes, eh?
Now, tell us about Savage Lands.
Savage Lands, yeah, sweet. Look, I'm wary about putting my name to a server, like I really am, and that's not a bad thing. It's more, I just don't want to be that person who's got the servers. Like, we've seen others do it, and I get it. It was more a bit of a pet project with myself and DayZ Philosophy. We set it up, trying to fill the void, I suppose, of what we were looking for. There's a lot in DayZ that you can do, obviously, but there's also a lot that people don't know you can do. And trying to keep it as vanilla as possible, has a little bit of a mod to it, but it's more around the recipes and stuff that you can create. So, we look at it from the point of view of if I was surviving in the real world and this shit was going on, I can make a fucking bandage. I could fix shit up with a sewing kit I can make or find, or it's not necessarily looting. It's more characters being able to create and do. We've had it on a couple of different maps. We've obviously had Tuno to start with. Tried to go to Derol, too big for what we're looking for. We're currently on Chimsey at the moment, or Chimsey, however we want to say it.
I haven't played that one yet. I've been meaning to.
Yeah, mate, it's a good map. Like, it is a good map. It's got a lot to it, eh? Like, I've been trying to find a map, and I think this is where Bitterroot's going to come into the key. When it comes out, a map where it doesn't let you get lost miles away out the way, and you're never going to have any sort of run-ins. But it actually has like this central hub area where things will happen, and it has a bit of everything as well. So, yeah, we set it up. We're sort of toying with it, just trying to play with it, and it has no admins on it. And when I say it has no admins, me, myself, and DayZ are the same sort of thought, where we don't want people adminning the fucking the stuff and being power hungry and all that sort of shit. And obviously everybody's had their bad experiences with with shit admins as well. And we wanted it to be run by the players, so the players can make the decisions. Players can put forward what they want, and do it like a good group of people that can actually enjoy a server as well. So it's been an eye opener, mate. Like, I never realised, I don't think I realised what it's like to actually try and run a server as well. And look, we're not big, I'm not sort of saying we're big at that, but it's definitely a learning curve, mate, which DayZ really, really loves. He's really, really into it, and he loves doing that side of things as well, which is good. So it's given him a good outlet to explore. But there's a lot to it, a lot to server owning, I can tell you.
I'm excited, like you, mate, for the full release of Bitterroot. Everything I'm seeing about it. Like, I just messaged Maddie then, asking him if he had a private server, but I might have to look at trying to work out how to use DayZ Editor, because that airfield up north, the mountain that overlooks it, it reminded me so much of Mishkino tents, the old Mishkino tents.
Yes.
Where,
yes, it does.
But I just said to him, it just needs a mountain on the opposite side, because like the ranges are pretty insane. If you're up the top, you're looking at close to 900 meters to the actual runway. But if you had a mountain, a decent feature on the other side, not only do you have to worry about the snipers up on the hill shooting down at you when you're looting up in the airfield there, but the snipers up on the hill have got to be worried about counter snipers on the opposite hill, because that was one of the most unique locations in old Chernarus, when you had those two mountains overlooking the old Mishkino tents. And I used to avoid that place like the plague, because I was never a good sniper. And if you went into those tents down there, it was basically a death sentence, because there was generally always guaranteed to be a sniper up on the hill. And I get the feeling that that airfield is going to be a bit like that. It's just, it brought back really good vibes for me of old Chernarus.
Yeah, the way he spaced it out and how he's done it, hands down, man. Like, that's going to be a place that's going to pop up all the time. Like, you're definitely going to have your sneaky little camper. He's going to be hiding somewhere. If you've got a ghillie suit on that map, mate, you're probably fucking set.
Well, that's the other thing, really. I said to him as well. Like, I remember when they did the rework of the trees, and you used to be able to get a barrel and place it into a tree, not chop the tree down and wait for the tree to respawn, but just place it into the branches, and it was nigh invisible. Now, the way the trees are done, it's almost impossible to do that. But he's placed his trees, like sometimes there's two trees are too close together, and you can't run between them. But I don't mind it, because like I was running the other day, and I had I think it was Roger Rooster. Thanks, a shout out to him once again. But he was sitting in Discord chatting with me, and I was streaming it. I do sometimes stream my gameplay in Discord. That's a nice, people can come and chat with me and watch me be a potato. But I was running in the southwest corner, up where the mountain that has the royal throne on it. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I was running through the trees there, and they were so close together, and I literally stumbled on two barrels that I would never have seen. The only thing that I've seen close to that so far, and I haven't played every map, which is an oversight, I need to do it, but some of the areas on Namolsk, particularly near where that bridge is that goes to the two islands, are quite close with the trees there, but even then, they're still not quite the same. I love what Maddie's done in that. I said to him in the message that the old stash is going to be viable again because it's been
Yeah.
so hard to do in DayZ now for quite some time because of the way they changed the trees. You used to be able to stash things in trees. And they could be nigh impossible to see unless you stumbled across it. But he's got so much densely forested area that I know Summit's probably going to hate it, but me, I love it. I love the idea of literally, stumbling on someone sitting there cooking meat, or a player just checking his inventory, or even just the thought of knowing that I could be 5 meters away from someone and they literally can't see me. And he has these lines of trees in the area of the forest that, as you're running through, you don't know what's on the other side of those trees. You can't see through them, so it's a risk. Do
No.
I just keep on running out, or do I stop? And it's such a well-made map so far. Everything I'm seeing, and the custom assets
Yeah.
he's got, for the most part, amazing.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, he was streaming yesterday with Jay Plays. Jay and him had a run yesterday, and I said to Matty, like, obviously there's people out there trying to copy the map and redoing their bullshit like they do, and same thing I said to him, mate, was, look, take it slow, every brother. Obviously you're doing something right, so that's why people are doing this, and Jay was the one who actually said to me, apparently he asked Matt, why have you actually put the rocks in the trees, and it was actually was an accident, but it's become so
iconic
part of the map. Yeah, like it is. And for those that haven't played Bitterroot, get fucking on there and have a crack and have a try of it. Like,
Yeah.
you're missing out, to be honest with you. There's and I'll say this selfishly, there's very little maps that interest me sometimes, or pique the interest, or make me go, yeah, I'll go and play that. This is one of them that I'm waiting for every time it comes around. Like, people aren't on there for the hell of it. People are on there because they want to be on there, and Matty's a humble fella. He's doing work that is his passion and his love, and it shows, I think, as well. And it's offering a different sort of scenario, and you're right with the trees, because I've had a gunfight with a group of 2 people, and one guy was less than a foot away from us, well, probably a meter away from us, without even freaking knowing. And the only reason we see him is because he put his gun up and the barrel poked. It's kind of cool, because you can't just be the idiot that just goes fucking running. You actually got to take your time, mate, and think about what you're doing as well, I think, also. So I really can't wait to see the big city that he's going to bring in the next playtest and see where that goes. There's nothing that looks odd on that map. You know how you can go on some maps and you think, it doesn't really sort of fit or suit. Nothing so far looks odd or wrong. It looks like it should be there, and it is actually what is part of the map as well. And that's where I think it's different to a lot of others as well. I know there's I don't know how much you know about this one either, but the Hashima Island one.
I am very excited for that.
Yes. Yep. Same. Yeah. I've been watching it sort of progressing through slowly and stuff, and thinking, I can't wait to see how this goes, because it does, it looks like they're taking their time to do it right as well.
I love it. It's the same as what Maddie's doing. You find items, and there's a few like the tack bacon, the tin of peaches, sardines, and stuff like that. But he's got all those custom food items, custom clothing items that are more along the line of the actual map.
It's originality,
the location. And that,
it's original.
It's expensive. It's not cheap, unless you've got the skills to do all that stuff yourself. But if you want your map to take off, do it. And I think he's got quite a good monetization model as well. People can support him, and he's doing regular play tests and updates and letting people know. So I'm
mate,
big believer in what he's doing.
Approachable.
Very.
Like, he's approachable as well, and that's the key as well. Like, he's open, whereas you get some people who might be a little bit more, no, this is why I'm doing it, this is what I want, this is how it's going. He's adaptable to things and trying stuff out. And classic example is the rocks and the trees. It was a fucking error, but now it's become a hallmark. And to be honest with you, if you remove it realistically, it would sort of suck in a way as well, because you're always constantly going, fuck, is that a person? Like, I just don't know, and it's the one map I think that's keeping you on your toes all the time, mate. Like, you can't fucking relax on that map at all.
Yeah. Mate, we are pretty much done. The last thing I want you to talk about is your name.
Yeah,
Sin.
what my full name, my proper name, my sin. Yeah, sweet.
Why is it
sweet
Sin?
as.
I know why, but explain
Yeah,
it.
you know why. You know why. So, and look, this is not a poor me situation, so I'm not looking for fucking poor me and all that bullshit. I'm not that person. If I wake up in the morning, mate, I'm fucking happy. Realistically. Yeah, look, I had a little bit of an incident. I was playing football. I copped an elbow to the jaw. Had a tooth break off into the jaw and cut it, which led to an infection within half a day called necrotizing fasciitis. Put me into a coma. Was in a coma for 3 weeks. Had 16 surgeries on my neck and throat and shit like that. So I've had a full restructure of the neck, the jaw, and the throat, which led me to have a lot of time off, obviously. And this is where I picked up console, picked it back up because it was sort of 2016, around that time when things were coming out. And, mental health was a big issue. I'd never, like you, Bordy, I'm from a fucking era, mate, that gets told you don't talk about shit. You're brought up that way, which is wrong, to be fair. I've always been a person that wants to strive to make a clear head for people, make people feel like they can be clear-headed and feel like they can talk as well. And so Sin itself, I have a brand that I started out called Synamann, and it was originally Show You're Not Afraid, or Show You're Not Average, because it was more highlighting the fact that I want people to realise that it doesn't matter who you are who you are, and don't be afraid of it. Be yourself, realistically. And it's developed and dropped down to Steady Your Nerve, and that's more on the mental health side of things, where as a person who probably was really ignorant and fucking stupid about things, I didn't believe in mental health until it actually happened. And I honestly think the wake up that I had made me realise that there are people out there that just want someone to talk to, and just want someone even just to listen, really, to be fair. And the brand itself, it's kind of funny, mate. I had Sinister, and one of my mates from back home, he as a joke said Synamann, as in the fucking spice, And then, it just sort of took from that. No, fuck it, let's try that. We'll see what happens, And it's just sort of been developed from that since then. And I just sort of whittled things down. I've been working on it here and there. And so I created a brand. I haven't really seen a lot of this, and I don't know if it is out there. It probably will be. But I wanted to build a brand that was around mental health and about how good you feel when you put the right thing on, and how you feel a part of things as well. So to me, I was brought up on, if you look the part, you can feel the part, you can play the part. And that's a mentality thing as well. So, I try to do giveaways. I try to do gear that, I wouldn't put out gear that I wouldn't wear as well. So, I'm putting out gear that I wear myself every fucking day. I've got a hoodie on, I've got a t-shirt on, general everyday wear, but I want it to stand for something. And I want it to unite people, not divide them. So, I had fucking dark days, mate. Like I went through a lot of shit. And like everybody, I'm just the same as everybody else. So it just was something I reached to and realised that there's not a lot out there for, and I'm going to be a sexist bastard here, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but there's not a lot of support out there for men in regards to the mental health side. And that's more our fault than anything else, to be fair. We don't talk. So if I can start the conversation by you wearing a t-shirt or by you wearing a hat or a hoodie, and it's linked, into the fact that you're watching us on stream, then to me that's doing the world some good. I'm of the belief I want to put out more than I take, and ideally, mate, like I want to leave something for my fucking daughters as well. So, realistically, 10 years time if I'm here, or 20 years time if I'm not here, they can always look back on the VODs, or they can always look back on YouTube, or they can always look at the gear, or there's always that legacy left behind as well. And I think I just want people to be able to feel comfortable, be able to go, fuck, I need a hand, I need a help, and help me, don't be scared of it. Black dog's a bitch. It really fucking is. It's a mainstream thing for people. Women are a hell of a lot better at talking about their feelings than men are, and I created this thing so we can have a conversation about it more than anything else.
I like it, mate. I do.
I just think, and you yourself, Bordy, obviously, life gets to you. Life happens, you know. Like, you know, we're put in situations that, you know, we choose to be in, and sometimes we don't choose to be in, and there sometimes isn't an outlet, or we feel like there isn't. You know, and if someone wearing my fucking t-shirt helps someone talk, I've done my fucking job.
Yep. Yeah, I've been seeing a post getting around about a shirt someone was wearing, and it says, "To the person behind me, you're awesome."
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just like it doesn't cost you nothing to say something nice to someone. You see someone acting a bit not like themselves, reach out, just say to them, "You all right, bro?" You know, you never know. You may stop someone from F11ing or something like that. You know, because we all have those moments where you think no one cares and you act irrational, you say stupid shit, and yeah. But no, man, I
Yep.
appreciate that. That's good of you. And like you said, you know, especially as you get a bit older, you start to realise that you know, it's time to start making sure that I leave some sort of legacy, even if it's only for your kids or something like that. But yeah, good on
Yeah,
you,
I agree.
buddy.
And
Good
you
on
know,
you.
it's yeah, you know, and that's weird. Like, don't be scared, man. Like, you know, talk, just talk. That's all. You know, if people aren't going to let you talk, then find fucking people that will, because there are people out there.
Yep.
You know, yeah. So
Exactly.
it's sort of just been that born out of that passion, mate. Really, to be fair.
Mate, done for this week. Shout out, my friend. Anything at all?
Yeah, look, I will. I'm going to nick the mic and drop mic, mate. Look, I just want to shout out a couple of lads. Like, I've got to shout out to all my mods, obviously. Without my mods, I wouldn't be where I am. Shout out to Elves as well. Ella, who literally helped me set this up and you know, and has been a backbone for a while. I'm going to shout out the missus, obviously, because without her, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. And she gives more support than anybody ever really could. You know, to the boys or the bros, as I call them, like Jay, obviously, as well, Old Diddy Sniper, Naughty, you know, big shout out to Gluggles and the Beer Garden. Obviously, you know, if you're after a PvE server, get over there and play that. You're going to have a ball and you will shit yourself, I can guarantee it. You know, without the guys that are in my group and without my community, to be honest with you, mate, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So, you know, the most love I have is for the fucking community that I've got. The real people that keep me accountable for what I fucking do. And I love that because that can be probably a hard task sometimes as well. So,
and a shout out to Brendan and Moonshine.
Yes, Brendan and Moonshine, and Brendo's one of my mods as well. You know, again, that's a diversity of DayZ, mate. You meet people that you would never meet normally as well. So, he's a big part of the community.
I've got to do it. I'm sorry.
Do it. No, do it.
We've got to do it.
Do it, mate.
We've got to talk about Brendan.
We have to do it. Put the clip. If you're going to put that clip up, then yes, do it, because that's probably one of the funniest clips I've fucking seen ever. And for those that don't know Brendo, this is him to a T. Like, this is just classic fucking Brendan, really, to be fair. He's a bastard, mate, but he's a lovable bastard.
This is literally one of my all-time favorite DayZ moments.
Fucking brilliant.
And in my opinion, one of the funniest clips of DayZ you will ever witness in your life. Brace yourselves, folks.
I know what's coming.
Fuck, I hear a bear.
Where?
I don't know, but I'm in a lot of trouble if there is one. I'm not going to shoot him. He's coming for me, I think. Yep. Oh no, that's you. You fucking bastard. Fuck you. It's getting thin, Whitey. It's getting real thin, mate. Now I don't even know where all the meat is I cut up.
Did you do a runner?
Oh, fuck. Brilliant, mate.
I love the guy.
Yeah, hands down. Like, he's a big part of my community, mate. He gives me fucking constant grief. He's always
He
clipping
does.
shit that I'm doing.
He
fucking wrong.
does, and that's
Like,
it.
you know,
Yeah, he said in there he goes, "It's getting thin, Boyd. It's getting thin." But he gives it just as good as as
Oh,
you get.
fuck, does he what, mate? He yeah, look, you know, and a shout out to you, brother, because you know, like, I bumped into yourself, obviously, and you know, the reach outs as well, and what you do for the fucking community, you know, like, hands down, mate, you're doing it from the bottom of your fucking heart. So, you know, for people that think it's ego and all this other shit, you know, pull your head out your ass. It's not. It's because we love the game, you know.
Yeah, I won't
Um,
say that I don't do it because I want people to say nice things about me. Everyone wants to
No.
be liked. Everyone wants to.
Yep.
Everyone should want people to look at them and go, "Yeah, he's a good bloke." Unfortunately, I put
Yeah.
my foot in my fucking mouth a lot, and a lot of people can't stand me. But that's by the by. But I do this for that reason, mate. And
Yep.
it's great that people are starting to see that. And despite the fact that I may have some contentious views on some shit here and there, for the most part, I love DayZ. I love helping people. From things like Moonshine's laptop to just doing this show each and every week to help shine the spotlight on people like yourself and modders like Hunter. And it's just it's a passion project, mate. I love it.
Mate, you know, and it's a selfless act, you know, like look, with a baby face like that, how could you not? But you know, it's more it's more, you know, we're putting back, we're putting back. So you know, I just think you're honest, mate. I think sometimes you're brutally honest, and you know, the truth has a power that very fucking few people can handle, unfortunately, as well. So it's a burden we bear, you know, and we'll bear it till we fucking go. So, you know, don't change. That's probably the biggest thing I say is don't change. Just be you.
Yeah.
You know,
like we said before,
So,
mate, be
yeah.
yourself, and you don't have to hide anything. Warts
No,
and all.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty much, mate. You know, and look, I appreciate the opportunity. Like I know we talked a couple of times, and I went, yeah, maybe. But thanks very much for fucking having us on. I love this community. I love the people that pop in and say hello, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't expect people to sub. I'm not on about the subs. I just enjoy the people popping in and saying hi.
Yep.
You know, so yeah.
You don't have to. Just be in there, and help and boost the numbers and all the rest of it.
Yep.
You know, you don't have to. If you've got a few spare bucks, you can support someone. If not, just be in there.
That's right.
You'll make someone's day. My
Yeah,
shout
your
out
time-
goes to the Discord community I invited you to, mate.
Yes.
A local player by the name of Yuri, I think her
Definitely.
name is. I'm guessing, but it's hard to tell these days. It's an anime female, but could be a bloke, could be a chick. I don't know. But someone created a Australian Discord community, or not Australian, but a Australian and New Zealand Discord community. And the link, I'll post it again in chat. But it's pretty much exactly what it says. It's an Aussie-based Discord community for Aussie and Kiwi players who play DayZ. So if you're looking for servers, looking for players, there's a section for console. There's a section for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Looking for group, looking for servers. A section for content creators to share stuff. And just, I try to keep an eye on it. I'm a moderator in there helping out. I'll probably need to get your help as well, identifying all the official DayZ servers. But one of the interesting things we did, if I bring it up, I'd just like to show people. Some people may not like it, and you don't have to. We've got a rule in there about not sharing locations and so on. But let me just share the application. We've started. We've got PlayStation done, and I've got PC done, but only the official servers and not the temporary ones. But channels where people can chat about the official servers, because pretty much every community Discord, server has its own Discord. But there's not a lot out there for people who are playing on the officials, and there are a lot of people who like to play official. But so we've got a voice channel and an actual chat channel for every official permanent server located in Australia for the Kiwis and the Aussies who play on them. We just need to get the list of Xbox Ones. Big
Yep.
thank you to Ski Goggles from the official DayZ Discord, who helped me with the PlayStation One. But apparently we're having a bit of trouble getting the Xbox One, so I don't know if you can help us with that.
Yeah.
Sinner, but
Do what I can, mate. Yeah, definitely. Do what I
Yeah.
can, mate. Like, it's good to see. It's nice to see. Like obviously, I'm not going to say we're disadvantaged because we're not, but we tend to play a lot more American servers. UK if you can, obviously as well. But it would be nice to see that Aussie Kiwi bloody pride come back and have the servers that are out there get fucking get populated and get people on them as well. And mate, it was a great idea when I joined. I'm like, holy shit, this is good. Like I like the thought behind it. I really like the thought behind it. And,
again,
You know,
it's
it's
done
not that-
purely just to help people out, and I support that.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
It's good. So get over there.
Mate, thank you so much. They wanted to get you on
thank
for
you,
a
brother.
while, and you've been a long time supporter of the show, the community, and myself, and I appreciate that, mate.
No, look, thanks to you as well, man. Like,
Facility in chat
I'm
there. I love your face, Synamann.
Mate, he's another legend as well, and
He
you
is.
know, classic
Another
example of
brutally
fucking-
honest guy. I like him.
Yeah, and look, we stand by our words, and it's not.
I heard he's a
to
pussy
be,
though.
you know,
I reckon I could take him. What do you reckon?
Well, it depends on that color of the belt, brother. Really, to be fair, if it's black, then
be-
I'm not even going to fucking try.
Belts are for pussies. Real men do.
Yeah.
He would knock me flat in my fucking ass.
Hey,
But
I wouldn't want to be untangling my body
no,
the next day. Put it that way.
But yeah. Thank you all so much, everyone. Been another great show. A little bit over the time frame that we're aiming for these days, but I don't think it was too bad over. Next week's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Big Grandpa. He's back, and we've had him on before, but wanted to get him back on again. Talk about the journey he's been on and how his community is going. For those who don't know, Big Grandpa is probably one of the best resources for people looking to learn how to develop maps for DayZ.
Cool.
Yeah, we're getting him back on again. And I look forward to seeing all your faces, same time, same channel as always next week for episode 163 of the DayZ Podcast. Synamann, thank you so
Champion.
much, brother.
Cheers, my brother. Cheers, people. Take care. Be safe. We'll see you out there.
We'll catch you all later, everyone. Bye-bye.